मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा। बैठे हैं मिलके सब यार अपने, सबके दिलों में अरमा ये है। बैठे हैं मिलके सब यार अपने, सबके दिलों में अरमा ये है। वो जिंदगी में कल क्या बनेगा, हर एक नजर का सपना ये है। कोई इंजीनियर का काम करेगा, बिजनेस में कोई अपना नाम करेगा। मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा। मेरा तो सपना है एक चेहरा, देखे जो उसको जुमे बाहर। मेरा तो सपना है एक चेहरा, देखे जो उसको जुमे बाहर। गालों में खिलती कलियों का मौसम, आंखों में जादू, होठों में प्यार। बंदा ये खूबसूरत काम करेगा, दिल की दुनिया में अपना नाम करेगा। मेरी नजर से देखो तो यारो कि मेरी मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा।
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We were just waiting for a few more people to join us. Welcome to GLIBTALK 2.3 with Mr. Vivek Chadha. We appreciate your patience. I hope you all enjoyed the song so far. Wish you all a very happy Father's Day and a World Happy Yoga Day. We really, really appreciate the time that you've taken out to join us on this Sunday evening. So just one more minute and we will get started. Thank you so much. All right, here I come. We have very less people today. No issues. Thank you so much. We have 6 of them. My name is Samrat Ghosh. I'm your host for the evening. So welcome to GLIBTALK 2.3. ये जो मेरे बाल पे जो ढाल आपको दिख रहा है, this is only because I could not get a haircut done. The is actually getting on everybody's nerves. So we all are scared actually to go to the salon and get a haircut done. So that's one of the things. So today we have Mr. Vivek Chadha, who is a passionate entrepreneur, who is the co-founder of LinkedIn Local, who has been a CEO of his own company. The company is EYL, which he later sold it off to Super Seva, as we all know, if you follow his LinkedIn profile. This is not a webinar. This is not uh, something, a two-way conversation. This is something, a conversation. This is a talk show. Since pandemic has actually pushed us to do a lot of new things, uh, something that I have started very recently, and it's just been over a month, where this initiative has been taken. I'm a former radio jockey with Red FM 93.5 Hyderabad. I was the first ever Hindi radio jockey in Red FM Hyderabad way back in 2008 and 2010. But yeah, that somehow the passion stayed in me, and I thought this is the right time to pursue your passion and get your creativity the next stage. So here we start with Mr. Vivek Chadha. Vivek, I would request you to please turn on your video and give a small introduction and just talk about your.
Good evening. Hi, Samrat. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And thank you, everybody here, for being here. Vikas, Preeti, Ritu, Anish, Champa, and Mayank. Thank you, Samrat, for having me here. It is a pleasure. It is an honor, and it has been very nice speaking with you over the last few weeks. And GLIBTALK is doing well in the first few initial moments. This is GLIBTALK 2.3, and it has really taken off well. I must say the initial success you've had with this is quite encouraging. And Samrat, guys, is a great guy. I've been speaking to him, and we've had conversations other than this talk also, and really enjoyed speaking to you.
Thank you so much, Vivek. And as you all know, guys, since it's a free one, not a lot of people, they actually pay heed to it. But yes, we have mix of audience. There is no powered by. There is no, this hour is brought to you by. There is no sponsored by. This is all by us, all by myself. And this is GLIBTALK. GLIB means easy. GLIB means often thoughtlessly. A lot of people, very funny way they said Galib talk. Some people say Galib talk. Some people say Garib talk. So very funny, the reaction sometimes. It is not Galib, it is not Galib, it's not Garib, it's Glib. Because there are so many table talks, there are so many let's talks that are happening around. I think during this pandemic, everyone has become a motivational speaker. Everyone has become an influencer. Everyone has become a public speaker. So I'm getting a lot of requests on LinkedIn where people are approaching that, hey, can I contribute to your show? क्या मैं आपके show में हिस्सा ले सकता हूँ? कोई लोग बोल रहे हैं कि क्या आपकी कंपनी में हम इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं? So there are mixed bag, and it's fun. It's really, really fun. So we would really encourage everybody to ask a lot of questions. These are not two people talking to each other. These are not somebody who is just asking a question and somebody is answering. This is where your involvement is also equally required. I know a lot of people are just hiding yourself behind the camera. I know Vivek is very good looking. मैं इतना भी good looking नहीं हूँ कि मुझे कैमरे के आड़ से आप देख ले हो. जब भी आप सवाल करोगे तो please turn on your camera, come in front and ask the questions, because today we're going to talk about how to be an entrepreneur. What is entrepreneurship all about? And Vivek being with us, I think he has a great story to share. So Vivek, over to you. We would like to know कैसे चालू करते हैं, कोई भी चीज कैसे चालू किया जाता है. हम नौकरी पेशे इंसान हैं, हमेशा से नौकरी करते आए हैं. At the end of the day, the salary hits your bank account and you get happy. You know this is your limited budget for the month. And I'm sure when you started your career, you also equally started your career probably working somewhere, right? Taking that decision and transforming yourself in your head, thinking I will do something on my own. And there are very interesting things that we have to talk about basis on your post and whatever little we have conversed in the last few weeks. So I would like you to give yourself a brief introduction about where are you from, what exactly have you started with, and the conversation flows on. Over to you, Vivek.
Thank you, Samrat. My father used to say that if you don't want to do something, no one can help you. And if you really want to do something, no one can stop you. And that thing has been with me throughout my life till now. I grew up in an environment, in a defense environment. My father retired from the Air Force. I've traveled across the country, met people from different parts of the country, of different cultures. So I've really grown up in an environment where you have people from different cultures who speak different languages, have different lines of thought, and it has been really nice, to be there, because people in defense are, sort of have a certain way of life. When I sort of reached in my 12th class, my mother asked me, or rather told me, that you have to apply for this particular defense exam. And I told her that, no, I'm not going to do that. I have seen 20 years of defense life. I want to do something else, on my own. I want to go and see the world. I want to go the other side of the world. And so I said, I'm sort of going to, study engineering, and I'm going to study for it. I'm going to work hard for it. And so I, started working hard, got into Delhi College of Engineering, studied for 4 years in the college, had lots of fun too. Joined a company, Quart Media House, from college. It is in Mohali. Spent a year there. Then moved to Noida with a company called Mentor Graphics. Mentor Graphics is a great organization. Really, helped me, understand technology, the work I was doing. While I was in Mentor Graphics, the thought that I want to do something on my own resurfaced. So in college, I was very, very actively involved in a lot of projects, in a lot of events. I was, sort of heading the technical society that organized a lot of technical events. And I really was fascinated by entrepreneurs, people who started something, took the initiative. I read books on, how IBM started, and, different sort of companies. And that, but I did not have sort of an idea that how to go about it. While I was in my job, I really, thought that it is high time that I should start thinking about it seriously. And that thought kept recurring in my mind even when I went to sleep. Well, about 4 years into the job at Mentor, I, started giving serious thought to it. I started talking to people. I got associated with TIE. TIE is the, the entrepreneurial organization worldwide, go-to place. I took advice of what I should do, where should I go, how things are structured. The advice I got was basically that, you have to first come up with something, some ideas, which are where the starting point, and then you can go in for testing those ideas and see if they really make sense. In my mind, I wanted to help people. I thought about different ideas, a lot of vague ideas, and, I made out a list, and finally, I came up with something wherein I wanted to sort of help people directly. I came up with a concept of concierge, wherein people working in organizations like myself would be able to, do things without actually stepping out. So it was like having a personal assistant, but on a very professionally organized level. And I started testing the idea. I had not left my job. I created a business plan. I even involved, a business partner, very senior to me, who also invested in the business. And then started sort of taking, the leap. Very, very interestingly, within, I think, 3 months of the effort, we bagged our first client. The first client, incidentally, was next to my office in Mentor Graphics. It was a huge coincidence. I hired the first employee when we got the contract. I remember I literally went, looking for people, talking to people. I went to his office to understand what is he doing, and I shortlisted him basis our telephone conversations, and sort of he had a lot of questions because who was I? I did not even have sort of an established company, and there's this new guy who's coming in talking about hiring him. And I showed him the promise. I had sort of invested in developing a backend system which would run the whole, system and taking the requests. And he came on board. We started the service. There were some initial hiccups. I remember once client called me and he said this is the issue, and I was just he I think sent an email, and within 10 minutes I was at his office because it was next door. So I took a break and went there. And he was surprised to see me that how come you are here so fast. I was like, that is what the service quality is. This is how we give service. So I took on from there. We backed about 3 enterprise clients. After that, I realized that we are onto something, and this may be going big. This was 3 months short of me completing 5 years in vendor graphics, and somebody told me that you will get gratuity if you complete 5 years. I said I cannot wait. I just cannot wait for another 3 months sitting in this office and not doing what I want to do. And I left my job. My boss, my manager, was very, very encouraging, and he said, "Please keep in touch. Please let me know whatever you are doing, and ready to help and so on," which is very, very important. You need that ecosystem. You need that support, and started building the company from there. And it had been a pretty long journey, about 9 years before it was acquired by Super Seva in 2018, and then so on.
That's a quite brief, Vivek. Thank you so much. But the question is, you had a job, right? And you had, I'm sure, some financial backup also. Your dad was in defense, and family support is very, very important, right? There are a lot of people, they are passionate, they're very curious about doing something on their own, but they don't have any backup. They don't have an investor, they don't have any angel investors. Forget about raising a Series A or a Series B funding, etc. If somebody who is educated, who has that aspiration that I want to do something on my own, मुझे कुछ करना है अपने आप से, right? But I have a business plan, a blueprint in my head, but I don't have a family support probably because I am earning my salary at the end of every month. So my family would say, "Nahi, don't let go of your monthly salary that comes and hits your account," because that's how people are running their family, right? They have their commitment, EMIs, credit cards, leisure, holiday trips, and there is a family, there are family members, there are the commitment which goes without saying. I don't need to say much about it. In this situation, when somebody doesn't have any support, they don't have any backup, they don't have any financial backup, they probably would not be getting that amount of loan for to establish a business. What is your suggestion? Because I have a very interesting question coming up for you, जहाँ पे आपने कहा था कि एक entrepreneur के life में जो भी problems आते हैं, which is sometimes become so insurmountable, quote unquote, that was your word on your post, and you wept and you cried alone. So that's an interesting insight that we will get to know very soon. But किसी के पास अगर कुछ नहीं है लेकिन उसके दिमाग में कुछ ब्लूप्रिंट है और उसको शुरुआत करनी है, वो कहाँ से स्टार्ट करेगा, किससे पास जाएगा, क्या पूछेगा? I just want to know the A, B, C, D.
Okay. So I think सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है आपका जज्बा. अगर आपके पास बैकअप है नहीं है, that is secondary. अगर आपके पास जज्बा है, that is when you can take things forward. I also think that having a backup sometimes backfires because then people start making a plan B and they think कि हमारे पास बैकअप है. अगर आप बिना बैकअप के चलेंगे, the chances of you to succeed are more. The reason is अगर आपके माइंड में रहेगा कि ये चलेगा नहीं और मेरे पास बैकअप तो है ही, so eventually what will happen is that you are going to hit that backup. Of course, you need to do the risk planning. You cannot be foolish about it. But my advice is to have a plan A, and not really think about the plan B. Entrepreneurship, if you have a plan B, then your plan B will become the plan A, and you are never going to start.
So, कहते हैं विवेक के हमेशा plan A का plan B होना चाहिए, plan B का plan C होना चाहिए. There always has to be a contingency plan. But I think you were saying something very different, which is something new that I have also heard. How are you saying that do not have a backup plan? What if you fail? And I'm sure you must have failed.
So the natural human instinct is that if you jump into, for example, I usually give this example. If you want to learn swimming, you cannot buy a book on swimming and read it. You have to jump into the pool. and see how it is going. Obviously, you can have a mentor, somebody who hands hold you and you can teach you swimming. But if you read articles about entrepreneurship, you read books about entrepreneurship, you cannot learn entrepreneurship by doing it. You have to jump into the pool to learn the swimming. And most of the times people create a plan B कि मैं I will start doing this, मेरे पास इतना fixed income तो आ ही रहा है, and let us see. But let me tell you, 99% of those people are still working in their jobs because they are not able to gather enough courage to leave their jobs, primarily because the initial journey of entrepreneurship is very, very tough. For 2 years, I did not make money. I was investing money in my own business because the kind of investments initially we had made, the clients did not come in very fast. It takes time because I was a first time entrepreneur. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. I did not know a lot of things. First time I went to a CA, he fooled me by charging me some amounts for something which was, very, very small and very, very that was a very silly incident that I learned that, I need to have, the information beforehand I go and meet somebody. But I did not know anybody, so I had to start somewhere. And it is very, very important that, you keep moving forward. If you do not have backup, if you do not have guidance, you have to start somewhere. You have to talk to people. You will fail. I failed in the first year. I failed at 100 things. I did not know how will the company start. How am I going to register my company? What are the legalities? What does the CA actually do? What is a balance sheet? How does a current account open? What are the things I need to do? And this is along with building the business. Along with looking at how to grow the business, how to acquire customers, how to hire employees. And while the company scales, every 3 years the issues in the companies change because the scale of the company is changing. So every 3x the scale of the company is changing and the issues are changing. So my advice in terms of starting is that you need to be one. There has to be a very, very dire sort of want from inside that you really want to do something. Just because you've seen Mark Zuckerberg, just because you've seen Paytm, just because you've seen a few people in the media, don't do this. Entrepreneurship is a very, very difficult and sometimes a very lonely journey. When I started, and things now are very different, the percentage of people who are into entrepreneurship is much higher, probably 100 times of when I started. Even then, it is very, very difficult. It is only when you're very clear that, yes, you want to do this, go ahead. However, at the same time, you should keep testing different things because you never know, what idea might click. You may not have a $1 billion idea. I did not have a $1 billion idea. But you should keep testing different things. Maybe start with this project that you're passionate about. That project may convert into a business someday. So it is not black and white that tomorrow or next month or 6 months down the line, I'm going to start a company. You can start with a project. You can see, the feasibility. You can see if you're enjoying the work, which is very, very important. And then take on from there. There's a lot of support nowadays available in terms of mentors, in terms of talking to people, in terms of resources to see how you can raise the funds, areas where you can go, and even go to places where you can sort of incubate your ideas and see if it is going to work out. If not, then you can always go back to the job.
Sure. Great. So in the meantime, guys, as we mentioned, this is not a two-way conversation. It is not मैं विवेक को सवाल कर रहा हूँ, विवेक आंसर दे रहे हैं. अगर आपके पास भी कोई सवाल है, आप पूछ सकते हैं, right? उसके लिए पैसे हम नहीं लेते हैं, ये free of cost है. This is absolutely online. This is free of cost. This is just a platform to bring all of you together to learn together, to learn that अगर आपके अंदर वो passion है, to get started. Now, I will give my example. I do not know whether I can ever start a company on my own, Vivek. Something that I thought I was good at, I started this. आज से 1 महीने पहले शायद मुझे कोई नहीं जानता था. आज से 1 महीने पहले आप भी मुझे नहीं जानते थे. आज से 1 महीने पहले जो यहाँ पे कुछ लोग आए हैं, जिनके साथ मैंने फोन पे बात किया है, वो भी नहीं जानते थे. But there is always a start. There is always a start from a zero. So you never know. Something that you dreamt, something that you dream about, and something that you're very, very passionate and you have that unflinching zeal inside, trust me, go for it. सबसे ज़्यादा क्या होगा? Either you will fail or you will succeed. And Vivek, we have a live example who has actually been a successful entrepreneur and who actually sold his company and he earned his $1 billion. I'm sure Vivek will get to know more about. We'll not get into your balance sheet and your check-in account in terms of what's the valuation of the organization was, but we would like to know a little more about EYL, the company that you established. And yes, we have some questions also coming in. Champa is asking a question. 2 strong sessions. Why would a VC find an idea? Is it trending product or technology? Champa, if you really want to ask the question, why don't you just turn on your video and just ask the question to Vivek? Not necessarily you have to just ask the question in the chat box. किसी को भी कोई सवाल है, आप just raise your hand and just ask the question because this is an open forum. यहाँ पे कोई restrictions नहीं है कि आपको सिर्फ पूछना ही है. But anyways, if Champa is not comfortable, Vivek, you want to answer that question? 2 strong reasons why would a venture capitalist find an idea? Is it trending product or technology?
I think the primary reason a VC would, an idea investing is the product market fit. Only when there is a demand is when a VC is going to look at your idea. A lot of what happens is that we have a lot of ideas in our head that we should do this, and this will click. But there has to be really a product market fit, and the market has to be big enough for the VC to be interested. So, for example, we are talking about a venture capital. Venture capital firms do not invest below a certain amount. So, for example, you want $1 million, a lot of VCs would not invest. You can approach angel investors for that. If you're trying to raise money, step 1 is you have to see what is the market for the product. And you will have to do a lot of research. You will have to do a lot of testing. You'll have to maybe build a prototype, because a lot of companies, do that and even don't get funding. You have to keep trying. You have to talk to people, understand, basically what is the story behind, the idea or the product that you're trying to create. So what may also happen is that there may not be a market right now, but the way industry is growing, the way things are going, maybe a year down the line, 2 years down the line, there will be enough market. And if you can make those projections, if you can show, to an investor that the market will grow into something, then you have a chance of, hitting money into your bank account.
So we have Vikas who was asking a question. Sorry, Vivek, I need to cut you.
Yeah. So just to continue, is it a trending product or technology? No, I don't think so. It is necessarily about something that is trending. What venture capital firms also look at is how this is going to pan out in the next 5 to 10 years. They look at a longer view. They just want to invest something. What basically product or service that you're offering is going to be, in the whole ecosystem. So that is very, very important.
Right.
Yes, Samrat.
So we have Vikas asking a question. Vikas, you can just turn on your video and ask the question to Vivek directly. There's Vikas.
Hey, hi, Samrat.
Vikas.
Hi, Vivek. How are you? Good to see you.
Very well, thank you.
Hey.
Hey, Vivek. You know where what stage I'm at with the startup and trying to put it in place. In my interactions with people, when obviously one is looking for guides at this time, I keep getting at some point some encouraging words, at some point some discouraging ideas or thoughts, and obviously it's a model also as you know, which is under evolution. So it's not like I have figured out the final solution, which will obviously be the product or service. So at this time, how do I kind of juggle between these different perspectives that I get, try and keep myself focused and sane? Any guidance on that?
Okay, so first thing, during these times, during the COVID times, it is very, very difficult for any person or any company even sustain. Business models had established themselves. They are right now in positions of either closing down or are either saving cash or trying to save money, so that they have enough runway that they can pay salaries. So you probably need to not blame yourself if things are not fully working out right now. That is very, very important. You need to sort of forgive yourself if you're claiming that I'm not able to work things out. Secondly, I would advise is to go and talk to people who have done what you're trying to do, or there is an overlap of what they have done. Sometimes when we are starting, we are not able to see things in the whole perspective, because we are very, very passionate and very, very fascinated, and the view is sort of very, very limited. We only see what we are trying to do. We don't see the industry as a whole. We know how the industry is, as you have enough experience, but our mind tricks us into thinking that what we are thinking is the best solution and it should work out. We sometimes try to force to work it out, but it may not work out. And especially times have changed. What you have learned throughout your life has been before COVID. During COVID, the expectations have changed, the requirements have changed, the needs have changed. So you need to talk to people who have probably seen such, disruptive cycles, who probably have much more experience than you have in similar field trying to do something similar, or there is an overlap. And then probably you will get some ideas as to, what are the other things you can do. And also, it is possible that you may have to change the entire business model basis your discussions. So you'll have to do a lot of tinkering, you'll have to do a lot of testing, you'll have to do a lot of projects. And then probably you'll figure out, and you can compare, as we call in technology, A/B testing. You'll have to do a lot of testing and see of what is working and how much is it working. And, that is the advice I can give you.
So, thanks, sir.
Okay, just to let everyone know, guys, this is a free session. As you know, nothing comes free in the world. It's a free session. The reason being, Zoom has been kind enough to give us a 40 minutes first free session, so that this conversation would drop right after 6 minutes as we speak. So once it drops, please join back on the same link. Okay. We have Preeti who wants to ask you a question. She has bandwidth issues. She has already mentioned she would not be able to come on video, but she would ask you the question over the voice. But if the line gets disconnected by 5 o'clock, by 5 minutes more from now, which I'm sure because I'm just getting the notification, please join back on the same link. Right? So Preeti, up to you. Please go ahead and ask the question to Vivek.
Thank you, Samrat, for that. Hi, VC.
Hi, Preeti. How are you?
Right. My question is from an emotion perspective, okay? We all know that our venture...
Can't hear you, Preeti.
Hang on.
Preeti, your voice is breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm saying my question is from an emotional perspective. As we all know, our ventures are our babies, and for a first-time entrepreneur like yourself, that attachment, being with the company for like 8 or 9 years, when you did think about selling it off, how did you let go in your mind? That is what I'm interested to know, because I have seen you through that journey and I have made my own assessment, but I would like to hear from you. How did you let it go, and what were those emotional roller coaster rides that you were going through at that time? Over to you, VC. Thank you.
Okay, that is very, very...
Vivek, sorry. 4 minutes, guys. After 4 minutes, please join back on the same link. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So that's a very good question. That is a very important question. It is one of the most defining questions of my life. When I started my company, my job at Mentor Graphics was extremely good. It was very high paying. I had a lot of comfort. And the reason I left it was there was a lot of comfort and I wanted some challenge in life. And I got into, the swimming pool while not knowing how to swim, and I learned to swim, and, a lot of challenges. And when you work on something that has a lot of challenges, it comes very close to your heart. And the more, you deep dive into it, the closer it comes to you. So emotionally, I was very, very attached because it was my baby. I had started that company bit by bit. I had even swept the floors of my office. When we were beginning, I had hired every employee in the company for the first 5 years, and I have done all of that. However, sometimes there comes a time when you have to decide what is best for you, for your company, for your shareholders, for the stakeholders, and for everybody. While I knew that it was the right decision to exit the company at that point of time, however, there was a conflicting thought in my mind that how am I going to do it? I was very nervous. So for a lot of initial months, I let that thought, be there and sort of ignore it. I wasn't really taking action on it, even though I knew that, this is probably the right thing. But the thought of, thinking of letting go was, I think more than a year, I did not act on it. I just kept sitting on it. But then there came a time when I realized that, I have to do the right thing, even if it is difficult. When I started working on it, we had some few interesting offers that were there, some discussions were going on. And the moment, I started working on it is the moment, it started sinking into me that, yes, this is happening, this is going to happen. From the first action to the signing of the agreement, about 6-7 months, I used that time to emotionally and mentally prepare myself. Every day, I used to tell myself that this is the